record. It went very well, short as it usually is. But then it came to this piece, and I was like fell over backwards. I said, I can't believe this was the same station that did this kind of unfair misrepresentation of what the real, like Richard says here. I mean, this was not the cultural, diverse background that we actually experience on this programming here.
There was some mean-spiritedness there. Of course there was. The media does not like public access. Whenever they do a story, they either try to show what fools the people on public access are, or they just come out with a downright negative message about, my goodness, it's going to ruin your children if they see Jim Spagg or naked people on television. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's just terrible.
They didn't even mention the fact that people of Korean cultures, people of Ethiopian cultures, people of Iranian cultures, and not to mention the different religions, can go and watch their particular cultures or religions on that tube, and they're not going to be bothered by commercials. None of it's going to be filtered through commercial advertisers just saying this is not okay for us to have on the air with our name on it. None of that's going on. It's individually driven by individual producers. Right. We're responsible for the content.
Yes,
we're responsible for putting ourselves out there.
Some of us are artists who would like to get more exposure out there, and we want to actually prove that we can be wild and outrageous without stooping to the levels of taking our clothes off or running around with a stupid 99-cent wig on top of your head. Some of us, and plus some of us want to give the other artists in the area a break and give them the exposure that they wouldn't have before if they were to go to somebody else.
Give other people a break. See, she's suggesting that I'm the bad guy, that I'm making public access a bad thing. Do you know that there are people who don't even have television sets, and yet when you say public access to them, they'll say, oh yeah, all that religious stuff, or they'll say, oh yeah, the guy that dances around naked. Why, if it wasn't for me, there are a lot of people who have absolutely no idea that there even was such a thing as public access. And I'm the first to tell you, you don't have to like my show to find a lot of good stuff on public access. And also, I have continually invited people to come down on my show and tell the audience just why my show is not good, just why my show is rotten. I would be very happy to let people exercise their freedom of speech and tell the world why Jim Spagg has got a rotten show, because I like my show, and there are people who do like my show, and they like it very much. Unfortunately, they're a minority. But then public access seems to serve minorities. And you know, Thomas Jefferson was aware of the fact that while we have the majority ruling, that we've got to consider the minorities. The minorities have their rights, and they have a right to be heard, and that's what freedom of speech is all about. So let's continue.
If they were to come to us, it wouldn't cost them anything.
It's important that to say that no matter, if you want to run around with a wig, you can do it. If nobody wants to watch you, then you're out there doing it yourself. But the fact is, it's freedom of speech, folks. This is a forum for people to vent their mind, vent what they feel, and that apparently was really important because the legislation and the money and the whatever it took to put this on the board 20 years ago took place, and it is something that's been growing ever since.
And, I've been a part of a lot of, I don't just do my own program, I like a lot of us at this table, help out other producers, and I've been a part of some really great musical programming, and then I also did the National Institutes of Health National Center for Complementary and Alternative Medicine Conference, which was I guess it was 2.5 hours long last spring, which happened to come in. The Medicinal Use of Marijuana Conference, the National Conference on cannabis, was actually held here in Portland, and a lot of the tape that we was rolled in. We had a skating program we put on from the Ice Chalet, and which was a cultural thing for the kids that, of course, loved being on television, but of course, more than that, I think their families loved to see them, and their friends like to see them.
Right. You see, now I'm stupid enough to think that all of us folks at public access are family, and we should all be friends, and we should all work together. I like to be on other people's shows on public access. I'm happy to be a guest, and I'm happy to express myself, and I have respect for people. I don't go on their shows and take off all my clothes unless they would want me to. And at the same time, anybody is always welcome to come and be on my show. We're like a family, and I would like for us all to get along. You know, I am good friends with some of the people in public access, but there are a lot of others who shun me, who ignore me, because they feel that I'm doing harm to public access. Contrariwise, madam, let's listen to more of this conversation.
Going on in Portland, and not just sound bites and saying there was a program that which happens on commercial television, 15 seconds of fame, the person's on the show for barely enough time to sit down, take a drink of coffee, and they're off. Here we really cover it like we are now in detail.
And the other thing that I thought was really disgusting was the fact that it was so hypocritical. I mean, all you have to do is look at the news on Coin 6 or any other commercial channel for that matter, and you're going to get a real good dose of death in real time at 6 o'clock. And this is great, community viewing. You can watch people getting shot and murdered and see blood in the streets. That's great stuff. That's wonderful. Accident after accident, sensational, controversy, carnality, and calamity. That's what commercial television is all about. And if they can show you Victoria's Secrets and soft porn movies, that's cool. That's fine. That's wonderful stuff because it's paid for.
Oh, but if we do it, we're chastised for it. We get complaints.
Yeah. So I think they're being very hypocritical. And again, it's probably going back to controversy. They're doing this. They're putting out this program. The tone of their voice, the whole way it was presented, is just to foment controversy.
Exactly.
To pit people against each other. And that's a great deal of what commercial television, commercials in particular, are all about.
I wonder, of any of you people who saw that story, I wonder if you picked up on the idea that they were slamming public access, that they were trying to tell you, people on public access are foolish. I mean, they showed this guy, he says, hey, I imagine you quit high school. I did too, and stuff like that. I wonder how many of you picked up on that story. And it's quite a thing, the way these people think that the media should be nicer to them. The media is not going to be nice because the game is called business, and you keep score with money, and all they really care about is the people who put ads on their media. You see? They don't care about you, and the only reason they want to get you the only reason they want to be nice to you is so you'll watch their show and see those ads that they're playing. But other than that, they don't like public access because they don't want any competition. Let's continue.
Look at Fox Television around 12:30, in between the hours of 12:30 and 3 o'clock in the morning, how they show these commercials for 1-800-WE-ARE-18 and all this other stuff.
Do they,
Right alongside Jerry Springer.
Oh yeah, that's a good, healthy program.
I think the biggest thing I objected to that about was the total disrespect. They disrespected and showed a lack of consideration for people that take time out from their busy lives to put together these programs. Whether they agree with the content or not is not the issue. They were disrespecting us, and they were disrespecting the viewers, because people watch these programs. These people have people that care about what they have to say, whether it's a religious programming, whether it's the live talk shows that Bruce and I do, but the show on AIDS, the music, the different things that we all do.
I imagine that the media would say, tough poo-poo. Freedom of the press belongs to the press, the man who owns the press, and they got their press. But then we at Public Access, we have our press too, and ours is not tainted by commercials and other powers that be. So continue here.
Yeah, maybe not a large group of people, but they are people.
I think there's also a sinister aspect in what they did with this program, in that it has a tendency to say, oh well, we don't need this. To hell with free speech and to hell with your rights to have access to the airwaves.
How do they know what's good for us or not? I mean,
They're making some decisions,
Well, I don't think they were making decisions in that they did say at the end, in all fairness, well, you do have the choice to turn it off. And from my way of standing, and as, a long-time advocate of Adbusters, you have the right to turn it off and turn to something it's going to be
see
a
my
shit
show all the time. I get emails from people telling me they hate my show, they think my show sucks, and I write them back and I say, I'm going to tell you what I tell everybody else. If you don't like my show, just flip the channel. It's not that hard.